Hello and welcome to another year, fourth consecutive year actually, of 15 days of breakaway roping. I am your host, Jordan Jo Hollabaugh, and I am so excited to bring you our fourth consecutive 15 days of breakaway. I keep saying it, I just pinch myself. I love this time of year. It's a little better than Christmas for me because we get to talk about breakaway roping all day long for 15 straight days. Kind of a big deal. And, I'm just so excited. Over the past 3 years of doing this, we've had over 75,000 people listen to this specific series. So I just want to say a huge shout out to all of our listeners out there. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for helping In the Loop podcast grow. This year is going to be great. I think probably the greatest year ever. Absolutely. We have some really cool things coming down the pike. And I just want to say a huge shout out to our partners this year because I absolutely could not do this without them. This series of 15 Days of Breakaway 2024 is brought to you by Wrangler. Wrangler butts drive you nuts. And we also have other partners such as Patterson Garage and Trailer Repair in Springtown, Texas, Rattler Ropes, Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Go get that breakaway team, y'all. WRWC, the Women's Rodeo World Championships. We've got some really cool questions coming, Fancy's Burning Questions. And Rodeo Now. Upload all of your rodeo videos and have them in one place. I'm excited to be a part of this year's 15 Days of Breakaway. It's really special to me. So thank you guys again for listening. If you have any questions for me, or if you would like to give us any input, I would love to know what you think about these breakaway roping series episodes. And if you have any breakaway roping questions, period, email me at jordan@inthelooppodcast.co. And I will get back to you and answer all of your questions. Make sure you share these episodes with all of your friends. We appreciate your guys' support and helping In the Loop podcast grow. So with no further avail, let's get to it. 15 Days of Breakaway 2024. Here we come. Okay, y'all, welcome back to another episode of 15 Days of Breakaway. We are here today with number 8, Danielle Lowman, with $97,998. Has been to 77 rodeos. Congratulations on your third NFBR qualification. D-Lo, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on another year of In the Loop, huh?
In the Loop, man. Wrangler Cowgirls, long live Cowgirls. Yeah, I mean, I just keep thinking about last year's NFBR as I'm preparing for this podcast and going through and remembering telling you last year that I needed to wear a helmet when I was interviewing you because you won round 7, round 8, round 9. First of all, I ran out of things to ask you. And then second of all, you threw your belt in the stands and I was worried you were going to knock a fan out.
Well, honestly, it was round 6, started off, and my belt went over the horn, and I'm like, freak, I need to get rid of this thing because it literally cost me probably the round because I was ready to throw. My horse reads me, shuts me out, and I'm like pissed. And then I come back out 7th and 8th round, and I'm like, by the 8th round, I do an interview the 7th round without a buckle, and then my brother-in-law, he's helping me, and he's like, you want your belt on for your interview? I'm like, no, I'm good, whatever. And then right before I'm roping, he's like, hey, you want your belt back? And I'm like, no. And then I go in the 8th round, and I'm like, and I can't remember we're coming out. I give him my rope. I'm like, give me that belt. And he goes, what? He's like, I said, give me the belt. He goes, okay. So I run out there. And I'm like, I'm ready to throw this sucker to my family so he'll stop asking me to put it back on. So I'm running around the arena and I'm swinging it. And then I see my family, all right, here's the chance. I kind of slow down just so I wouldn't hit anybody. And I just tossed it up as high as I could so they had time to oh, shoot, she's thrown it, So I tossed it up high. One of my cousins catches it and everyone after, that whole day, my family they're like, do we get to keep the belt, the buckle? And then one of my cousins is like, no, she didn't want to wear it. Give it back to her. And so everyone's trying to keep it. But one of my cousins is like, no, you can't take it from her. She already knew she was going to throw it to us. She knew she was going to get it back.
It was planned.
No, it was good. Yeah. One of my cousins knew what I was saying. But honestly, they could have kept it if they wanted it, but honestly, that was my only black belt at the time, so I couldn't, just give it away. I still needed it.
Well, and I remember walking out there to do those interviews. Obviously, every time you rope, it's fun, it's electric. You bring such an atmosphere with you as a competitor. And I literally, after you won the 9th round, I'm like, gosh, I hope somebody beats D'Lo. Like Sarah comes out there, I'm like, please, Sarah, because I ran out of things to ask you. And I'm like, seriously, I mean, I have a question for everybody, but I don't have 3.
That is so funny. I mean, me and Sarah were back there. Like, honestly, like she went, I think it was like 1 something, the 6th round, wins the 6th round. And like, she is pumping me up. Like, she's like, come on, you can do it. Like, I mean, she's going ham. Like, we're trying to like just take 1 and 2 at each round. And at the end of the day, like, I didn't realize that's what we did that whole day until I was like, holy crap, Sarah, we literally won every round. And it was freaking crazy. Like, honestly, it was just something that like we were cheering for, and then all of a sudden it happened. It amazed me that day.
It was a really cool day, and something that I bring that up because I want to talk about your momentum coming into 2024, and I feel like that really set the tone for you. And you roped so sharp there, you finished so strong. You take away those 3-round wins, and then you go into your 2024 year and you have one of the best winners to date as a breakaway roper. So talk about that momentum and how it brought you into this year, 2024, and getting your 3rd consecutive NFBR qualification.
Well, honestly, you go through these years, and every year you're going to learn something. So I think it was in 2023, I went to Fort Worth, and I believe I was like 3rd or 4th high call at that rodeo. And then, so I go to the rodeo, and I'm like, man, just catch, like, just go out and catch. Like, that's all you need to do. So I'm like 2-7, 2-8. And all of a sudden, like, all the girls in front of me, like, that's when Cheyenne won it, like, dominated the short round. And I'm like, freak. I win 5th, win no money because, the money cuts out at 4. So I'm like, shoot, that sucks. Like, I thought I was just going to go and catch. And that competitive edge that, Texas has, like, everyone wants to win first. And they want to freaking, they want to have fast runs. And so that year I was kind of like, man, that sucks. And then, went throughout the whole year and just kind of like played it a little safe, but not necessarily like safe. But at the end of the year, I went to Abilene and I flew in, and Larry and Hope, they mounted me at, I think it was at the Abilene rodeo or something like that. And I was sitting there and I was roping the dummy. I don't know what they were doing. They were busy or something. And I was roping the dummy like on one of their dummy deals outside. And her brother comes over, Tom. And Tom's son is roping. And like we're kind of talking, and we're, listening to, I'm listening to him, just seeing what he's saying. And then all of a sudden, like, he starts telling me the story about him and Trevor Brazil. And he says, Trevor had all the time in the world to win Guyman, but he, I think went through the barrier. And Tom's like, why'd you do that? Like, you had all day. And he's like, well, I just don't want to win second. I want to win it. Like, he's like, I want to win the rodeo. And then he's like, so all these years, like, I've won second, third, fourth, like at all these big rodeos. Tom was saying, he's like, I wish I had that Trevor Brazil in me, like how he was always going for first. He wanted to win. He knew what he had to do. Like, he was pushing it all the time. And then from that day on, like, when he told me, there was a lot more to the story, but like when he told me that, like, this 2024, I came into Fort Worth like, I ain't backing down. I'm gonna freaking nail the start. I'm gonna freaking put it on it, and I'm gonna win the rodeo. Like, that was my mentality when I went to Fort Worth, San Antonio. I tried my hardest at Houston, but one around there, like, it was a little horse change, but just listening to people's stories, they and how people failed at what they did but then succeeded so much that it all the stories, you can learn something from it, so I was pretty I was pretty pumped that, I went and had that opportunity with Tom, and I probably haven't even talked to him since. Like, it's weird. It was God's timing of him telling me this, that, you know, this is it's like what I needed to hear in September. Like, I heard it in September, and then I carried it on to going to Vegas, the finals. And like, when I went there, I was like, when I started at the finals, I was like, I'm just gonna go try and catch all 10. But then I think it was like the third round, my horse like was kind of free, and then the calf ran through my loop, and I'm like, now it's all round money for me now. Like, I'm out of the average. Like, I tried to stay in there, but the calf ran through my loop, and that's when I went off. And the 2 rounds, like, I think the fourth and fifth round, like, I caught, but I was getting faster, and then finally, like, the sixth round, she just shut me off because my belt got caught, and then it just kind of carried on, it's kind of crazy. Like, just those, I remember them like it was yesterday. So, like, I still listen to my mind, like, him telling me that story, just how it just carried on all the way through the winter. And then, remembering, okay, last year I won fifth and won no money. So this year I'm not backing down when it came to short round.
hmm Right. Well, and I
So,
think that's such a cool story. And thank you for sharing that with us, because it is that one, you never know who you're going to be talking to, who you might encounter that day. And just that one simple conversation, something clicks within you, and it just makes it make sense, and it makes it all happen, and it works for you and your program. And I think that is, that's so neat to hear, because it clearly did. It put you at a different level, I'll say. And you could just see when you backed in the box, on your face, in your eyes, you had that confidence. And so talk a little bit about what you think, what you would define confidence as when you back in the box.
having confidence in myself it's just like, your everyday life. Like, are you doing the right things? Trying to help people, trying to help yourself. Like, I guess doing what God's calling you to do. So when I get in the box and, like, I'm pretty much, I've practiced my score, I've practiced my loops. What did I do to get my horse here? Like, those all those things, like, make you confident in working and doing everything you need to do to take care of business. And that's the one thing that I never had. Like, I guess, like, in the years, I've always just, oh, I'll be fine, had that team roper mentality, like, I'll get by. But now it's like, okay, what do I need to do now? Like, how do I need to take care of this? What do I got to change my rope length? What am I experiencing in the rodeos that are changing? So there's always change to your roping that you got to do. Like, and then, at the time being around Sarah, like, I felt like my riding was week, and then she was like, this is like, watching her ride and watching her rope changed it, for me to be like, okay, this is what I need to do. Like, I remember short round, or right before, I think it was the third round, I just needed to go catch and be like 3 flat, and Sarah goes, don't be stupid, just go catch. And I'm like, shoot, okay,
Uh,
like, this is
no
challenging.
pressure.
Like,
Thank you.
it is just, yes, this is challenging for me because I'm struggling with my riding. And, Fort Worth is a freaking rodeo that you can go 2 strides and throw. So I'm like, she's like, just go catch. And I'm like, all right. So I get a box, calf steps left, and I'm like, it's over there. I'm like, oh, just go right behind it. Boom. And then I took 3 swings, and I was 3 flat and ended up moving on to championship round. And she's like, man, I was so nervous because that's the farthest you've been in the arena so far. Like, it was kind of funny because we were both nervous because she told me, like, don't be stupid, just go catch. I'm like, dang, like, so much pressure is there. But, like, you gotta be, confidence. You gotta have confidence in like what you do and how you're training and what you're listening to, like what you hear and just have confidence that you can do it. And that's just the way I look at it. And my belief system is pretty strong now, because I've started from where I've started and I've always had the right people in my corner and just be like, hey, you can do it. Like, if you believe it, you can do it. Like, that's all it takes. So I've always had that, you know, I've always tried to learn my belief system. Like, I can do it. And I believe that. Like, I believe in myself. I believe in everything I've done to get to where I'm at. So that's kind of like my confidence in the box when I ride in. Like, you know, I believe that I'll win this rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the one thing that that's my confidence right there.
Yeah. Well, and that is something I've heard you say over and over is believing in yourself, believing in yourself. And you can see it come out in you when you perform and when you compete, and not even that, outside of the arena as well, and your friendships and things like that. And so I think that that is so crucial. And I think if you look at the top 15 girls, everybody has something a little bit different, but they all believe at the end of the day. And I mean, not just top 15, top 20, top 30, pretty neat to see the camaraderie and the girls that we get to compete against, how they believe in themselves and how they do it differently. Okay, y'all, I am excited to talk to you about Rodeo Now. It is your one-stop shop livestock app with all of the demand on the rodeo actions. Want to show off your best rides? There's plenty of social media apps for that. But at Rodeo Now, we're building the rodeo community by sharing all of our rides and our runs. Whether it's one of your best rides or one of those rides that just got the best of you. When you upload to Rodeo Now, you're helping your fellow riders discover stock that they might drop. There's no community like the rodeo community. Join Rodeo Now and help build that community together.
I do see it. I do see it like in everybody else, like Sarah has a freaking belief in her horses. Like, man, she can win anything on her horses, and Martha's the same way. Like, just, seeing how they, you know, accommodate success, it like builds onto you, you're hanging with the right people and
Yeah.
like just everyone else, they all have their own people. And you learn, if you get out, like you'll learn those people, and then you pick up something that you want to be like, you don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people out there that you can learn off of and take it step day by day. Like, you just got to know who you want to be and who you believe you need to be.
100%. I think well spoken. Mic drop. I mean, again, it's like you're throwing a belt, but on the podcast. So let's talk about your style a little bit. And, one of the neatest things I thought I heard you say this year, and just to know that you were out there and you were competing. We were at Puyallup. We're walking back to the trailer, and you hadn't done any good. And you were telling me something you and Larry D had talked about, you changing, and you weren't mad. You weren't frustrated. You were like, man, I almost felt it right there. I'm getting closer. And I thought, man, that's pretty cool to be in the heat of the moment and you're still continually working. It's not perfect, but you're still continuing to improve in all the different setups, fast starts, long starts, all the things. So talk about, I mean, $97,000 is a pretty cool feat. About how you can stay consistent through the ups and downs through the rodeo year from start to finish.
I guess, having that, that grit feeling of like, honestly, the one thing that really like makes me be grateful and thankful at where I'm at, it's because I know a lot of people who would kill to be where I'm at. Like, so many Native Americans like come up to me and talk to me and like, oh man, like I had one girl who kind of helped me drive a little bit. Like, when I really needed somebody, she would step up and be like, hey, I'll go with you. Like, when I went to Mandan, we did I'm gonna say a 38-hour drive all the way around, just a quick trip. And she just wanted to go and help me drive. And I said, yeah. But like when I'm in the vehicle with her, like she just like randomly pop off and ask me questions. And I answer them, the best way I could. And like it just makes me realize like when I'm out there, like people will talk to me and like, want to know the answers, but I'm just like, man, these people they'll kill to be where I'm at. Like they wish they could, be out here and, live the life that we get to live. So I think having that, like knowing and seeing that people want to be at these big rodeos and want to have the friendships that we have with the top competitors and learn from each other, like that's just like eye opening to me, that I need to learn more. Like I need to have like be like able to be coached even when I feel like I'm you know at the best of my ability, and when I'm not, just be able to be humble enough to be like, hey, like this is what I'm going through, and being able to share it with somebody, and always be humble enough to be like, I'm not perfect, I'm not the world's greatest, I'm not just completely the D-Lo show that everyone calls me now, and I'm just like, it's not who I am, but it's okay. Like it's okay that they think that I'm like that, but at the same time, I'm not a perfect person. Like I'm not the D-Lo show 24/7. Like my life isn't a box of chocolate, So I
Mhm.
always try to remember those things, that there's people out there who struggle with horses. Like, and I've had a problem, all year long. Like, my horses aren't sound. There was always something wrong with them that like I just felt like I was behind, but I had to deal with what I had. There was no, like I could have called my family and said, "Hey, can I use the horse that you guys use?" But I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna take the easy route. I was just gonna, like if I am who I need to be, I'm gonna push it all the way out to the end and stay on this horse. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
it's just it's just how I feel like inside, just being humbled and being able to be coached through the worst and the good, and you know all the great times that we have out there, but just to stay grounded and remember that you know there is people out there who want to be where we're at. And those are the things that I've always you know kept in the back of my mind. Like I could go home to nothing, like on the reservation. Like I went home at the end of the year, and I went home and everyone's working and working hard. Like people have to drive an hour and a half to get to work, have to get up early and go to school. Like when I came home, I was like, man, like if I ever move home and everyone's still working, like I'm gonna still be grinding out my days just like them if I ever move home, because you got to drive and like go to work, and it's an hour away. Like there's not a lot of jobs on the reservation, so just stuff like that, like come into play where I'm at in life, and how I go, how I'm able to be coached, I guess, to be better.
Yeah. Well, and I love that too, and just the humility of it, because at the end of the day, I love how you said, I'm not the D-Lo show all the time. Like we are all, at the end of the day, we put our pants on the same way, and we're all humans, and we go through the same things that everybody else goes through. And I think bringing the vulnerability to that is like, hey, I'm going to talk about this. Like, I'm not bottling it up. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to get coached. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to keep fighting, keep grinding it out. And I think at the end of the day, that's what makes you a champion in and out of the arena, a competitor in and out of the arena, right? And you're taking everything that you've learned and you're applying it to real life, real world scenarios. And, you and I were discussing a little bit earlier how important family is to you. And, that's one thing that as you and I were visiting, we were like, man, maybe, and I think I said it, you didn't, but we're getting a little older. So our values and everything is changing just a little bit. on what we want. And so talk about being out on the road all year long, and then just getting to come home and be with your family, and a little bit about what you're doing right now to prepare for the NFBR.
Well, I think, being on the road all year long and, having my friends and my family friends that I get to hang out with all the time, like they make it fun. And like, that's the one thing that, opened my eye this year was like, my friends do make the road like a family rodeo type situation, so you go out and you have these friendships and like, it's like like, you make them your family, and when you get home, like like Sarah was funny the other day. We went to the Hondo. She's like, I know when you miss me, and I'm like, what? And she's like, I know when you miss me because you'll start snapping me, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, there's my first clue right there. But then, like, I get home and I miss my family, and I talk to them when I'm on the road, and then but being home with them and like seeing them do what they have to do every day, and like I literally, since everyone's working and has jobs and, have their own lives, that when I'm home, like I'm in the arena, still working at it because I made the finals and, still have a bit, big events, the $1 million deal in Scottsdale, which is right down the road from me. And then we had the Hondo deal right down the road from us. So, I'm just still working at it. And like my family will just come to the arena and come hang out and watch me rope and push up cattle and warm up horses. And like, to me, like, having them around and being able to just kind of talk to them about it, like, they're learning more too, like they're understanding what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So like we're all on the same level of, okay, this person, spends so much time because they have to work at it. So like my family will come over and just be there to support me and to just see what I live through every day, because sometimes like I'm cleaning all these stalls. Like I've been like back and forth about paying someone to come do it, but I'm like, no, I got to be able to do it myself because you know I'm not getting any younger, so I'm kind of getting older. But yeah, when I get old to a point where I'm like, oh, my back hurts, I'm not cleaning any more stalls, then I'll pay somebody. But I'm still young, I'm still
You're
young,
still
so
young and vivacious.
yeah, so I'm still like, I gotta clean my stalls on my own, so they come over and help me sometimes, and that's the time they spend with me. And I do, like, I appreciate everything my family does for me. Like, I know that like now, my family's heavy on rodeo, and a couple of my cousins, they rodeo, and like they have their own lives too, but they still rodeo. But like rodeo is just a hobby for them. So they're like back and forth, helping me. And then when they can't, they got to go to work. And like, I'm so appreciative that, they still make it like it's their living too, even though it's not, so just being around, seeing it now, um, of being around my family, and times have changed, so I feel like everyone knows where to find me now. My whole family, they know where I'm at. And like they'll have birthday parties at the house or, around my area just so I can make an appearance to come hang out and talk with them and be a normal person. So, you know, that I miss. Like I know that like when we're out on the road, we're literally gone and I'm away, and like I do miss my family a lot. And so now I'm getting older, I'm like, man, I guess I better stay home because today I could have went to a jackpot, could have went and seen rope, but I'm like, man, I tomorrow I'll wake up early, I'll go practice, and then I'll go to a jackpot tomorrow night. It's still gonna be there. So yeah, I just gonna go enjoy what my family has to offer, even though they're literally 10 minutes down the road. So I better go make that 10-15 minute drive just so that I show that I'm, you know, still support them as much as they support me.
100%. And I think too,
Yeah.
you talk about your traveling partner Sarah a lot, and you guys had so much success together this year. Talk to me about how you continue to have help each other to step up and rope better in the rig while you're competing against each other, because I think you guys do a great job of that.
Um, I feel like Sarah, like she thinks about, a lot, and then like I'm sometimes I I hung around. I think it was Jackie and Brad Goodrich one time, and they literally talking about it one day, and he's like, "It's simple. It's you just got to make it simple. Like rodeo is not that hard if you know how to handle it." So like hearing that, and then having Sarah, she's 5 years younger than me, and like having her to be like, this is the way it needs to be. I'm like, no, we can't control it. Like, you got to be able to understand that, we're going to win and lose. And most of the time, we're losing. Like, you just got to be a good loser and you got to be a good winner. You got to be able to balance that out. And those are the things that we've learned. Like, now, I took a lot of losing this year, took a lot of wins, but I tried to just, you know, we try to just, bring it all together and make us who we are to be better people out here. So I felt like we talked a lot about how we could win, but then we were still losing, and it was hard thing to see, like Sarah being pushed out of top 15. Like, it was hard, but at the same time, like, we just had to deal with it. And like, there's so many things that came into play that like now, I mean, she's been setting bombs off in Texas, and I haven't even been there. And she's winning every fraternity, winning every big jackpot. That's amazing. Like, she knows how to win still, and she's a winner, just and I'm pretty sure she's gotten better at, taking the losses, so it all comes together. Like, it makes us who we are.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that that is so neat to see, and not only like you said, didn't make the top 15 this year, but she has I mean, when you can win on all facets, whether it's the fraternities, the jackpots, I mean, anything and everything, when you can show up and be a winner in there, it sets a tone, and she is one of the best. So I think that's really cool that you guys were able to travel together and just help each other be competitors and win. Talk a little bit about, what do you use, a rope bag? Do you use a rope can? And what do you have in one or the other?
Um, all right, so I'll be honest. I gotten to the point to where I get the box, I lay them out, and then I don't even put them in the rope bag sometimes, because I just leave them out, and then I'll just grab one and be like, all right, I'm gonna use this one. It feels good. So, and I always remember, like, I'll take them out, lay them out, and swing them. And I always remember, like, which one has the best feelings, So, what I've been doing lately, like right now being home, I've been just leaving them out under my bed, and then I'll grab them, and, okay, this one feels good. Like, once I let them set, they, for a day or two, they feel good. So that's kind of what I've been doing lately, because I've been home. But when I'm on the road, it's a lot different. Like, lately, like when we were traveling, we just lay ropes everywhere, inside the trailer, in the back of the trailer, let them lay, and then I honestly kind of toward the end of the year stopped using a rope bag, because I was just picking them up, and then I'd stack them nicely in the box, and just kind of let them be free. So that's kind of how, like, I've been, using my ropes, is just letting them lay out instead of always, like, bunching them up into a rope bag.
Yeah.
Because when I put them in a rope bag, like, I just feel like, they're just, they they feel some different type of way. Like, they're always in a rope bag. They're always coiled up tight. So I've just, been leaving them out. But in my rope bag, honestly, I know I have no string, because I always, borrowed string. I have a rope cutter. I have a glove, and I have little earplugs. And that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. Keep it simple, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well,
maybe some tape too, because gotta cut my rope.
I was gonna say, what are you just tying it off, or how are you doing that? But you're using some tape.
Yeah.
We have our fan question that we're doing this year, which is new, and I really like yours. So we let our fans submit a question for everybody on In the Loop, and yours is: the Indian finals just happened. Do you think that that gives you an advantage to being in the building and getting a feel for things at the South Point?
Um, it probably does, but I'll tell you what, I've been to the South Point over 10 years. My first Indian finals was in 2013 was my first Indian finals. So ever since 2013, I've been going to South Point almost every year, and they've had the Indian finals there over and over and over. It's been over 10 years, I believe. So it's not that I, feel like I had an advantage. I've always had an advantage the past 10 years because I've been there competing, for so long. So maybe it does. Like, it makes me feel like it's my third home, to be honest. Like, every time I go there, I know what I'm doing. The people know me, like, where I keep my horses at down the road. Like, they know I'm coming. Like, I sometimes don't even have to call to reserve my stalls because they know I'm coming. Like, they see the results. So, yeah, it does maybe give me an advantage, but in my mind, it's everyday life for me now.
Yeah. I love it. Well, and I think last year I said, it's no longer the South Point, it's the house that D-Lo built. So pretty exciting, fun place to be. Our friends at the Women's Rodeo World Championship have done a pretty cool segment this year, and we get to ask everybody Fancy's burning questions. So there's 10 questions. The way it works is you answer each question and you get 10 VRQ bucks. And so at the end of the day, you're going to get 100 VRQ bucks to nominate your next women's rodeo event or WCRA, which I know you are heavy in. You are a huge part of the women's event. So I'm pretty excited. Are you ready, D-Lo?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, what is your favorite type of music?
I'm gonna say I've been heavy on country lately.
Everybody except for Jackie says country. Oof. Okay. Who was your first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush. That's kind of hard because I've always had a lot of crushes. As of right now, I feel like Kelsey from the Chief. He's just so good looking, and he's all over Taylor stuff now, Taylor Swift. So, like, he's always popping up.
He's always popping up in your feed.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you text the most?
I'm gonna say Cameron, my cousin. He's been helping me a lot lately. Like, I've been texting him the most lately. Lately.
Okay. Who is your favorite traveling partner?
I have a lot, of favorites because they're all good people. I'm gonna say Sarah, Martha, Jackie, like they've been fun, and my family been good too to travel with. So
Very good. What is your favorite brand of jeans?
Wrangler, of course.
What
Love
is
Wrangler.
your go-to Wrangler jean? Like, do you have a specific style you use, or like is there Lucky D-Lo jeans?
No, there's not no Lucky D-Lo jeans, but I love them all. Like, the other day I was climbing on the dummy and I slipped, and there's like a little sharp part of the dummy that I need to probably dull down, but it ripped my pants the other day, and I ran inside. I'm like, man, I ripped my jeans, and then everyone's like, "You're lucky you're sponsored by Wrangler," and I go run back there and change my jeans. So I love them all.
Well, your Wrangler butt drives us nuts. Long live cowgirls. So that's cool. What is your favorite summer rodeo?
Favorite summer rodeo. I'm gonna make it Caldwell. I I've done okay. I haven't placed there, but I'm gonna make it my favorite because I do want to win that rodeo. It looks amazing to win. I want to win it. I'm gonna make it my favorite this year.
There you go. What was your last Google search?
Let me check. Hold on. I think I watched the Twister movie. The Twister movie that came out this year, and Lainey Wilson. There was a song that was playing in it, and I'm like, man, I gotta figure out who the heck is singing. So I put in, the album for the Twister, and I knew it was Lainey Wilson, but I just had to make sure. So I found out that she has an album for that Twister movie. So that was my last Google search.
That's good. Very cool. You do love music, which leads me to my next question. What is your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to karaoke song?
Mm-hmm.
Heads Carolina, tails California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer. I love that song.
D-Lo can sing now. Mm-hmm. I love it. Okay, what is the best rodeo prank you've ever done?
Best rodeo prank I've ever done. Honestly, I don't remember a lot, but I've done a lot of crazy stuff, especially to Jackie, just because she's getting old.
Well, this is true.
She makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, what's your favorite dance move?
Honestly, I like the twists.
Can you send me a video of you doing that?
Yeah.
Singing Heads Carolina, Tails California.
And twisting myself. Yeah,
and
I will.
Twisting. Okay. Well, congratulations, D-Lo. Now you are $100 richer VRQ bucks. You can nominate your next event. We really appreciate the Women's Rodeo for sponsoring this podcast series and being a part of it. Women supporting women all over the world. So, Fancy's burning questions were kind of fun. They'll be putting that into your account so you can nominate your next event, next jackpot you're going to. Yeah, pretty cool. What about you and your family? Do you guys play pro fantasy rodeo any? If you were going to pick a team, what would your strategy be? Would you pick round winners, gunslingers? Would you pick average winners? How would you go about picking your team? Team of 5.
Well, I would probably pick at least 2 average winners, and then the rest go round winners, like the gunslingers. I probably would do. I'd pick the people who play it safe all the time, and then I'd pick the gunslingers.
So are you going to pick you on your own team?
Yeah, I would love myself on my own team because I ain't going to back down.
You ain't backing down now that you and Tommy Guy had that conversation. Watch out. D-Lo is coming in hot. Okay, well, last and final question this year for 15 Days of Breakaway 2024. Who do you look up to and why?
I've always looked up to a lot of people, and I've always looked up to, my family, the people around me. I've always looked up to the athletes that are surrounded by me, and I guess my all-time favorite is probably Trevor. He's just, the GOAT. Like, everything he does, he's good at it, and he's always, been the type of person that I want to be one day. And I think he does a good job at what he does. He's just real, everything he talks about, when I hear his podcast, like, he's one person that if I see him talking on a podcast, I will click on it just to hear what he has to say, because he's so smart and, he does his job very well as a person.
Yeah. He is one of the GOATs, greatest of all time, and he has made such an impact on the industry. And I think especially in breakaway roping, there's a lot of us who look up to him and value the things he accomplished and try to apply it to what we do. So he's been huge in our industry.
Yeah. Great guy. Love him.
Great guy. I can't wait to watch you rope 10 calves at the South Point. Congratulations on your 3rd consecutive NFBR qualification, and thank you for joining us for 15 Days of Breakaway.
I know. Good luck to you also. I'm excited to see you there.
Thanks, D-Lo. Yeah. All right, girl.